It's that time of the year when we're turning back our clocks, and also that time of the year when the days are getting shorter and shorter. And this is prime time for some people to either start developing sleep issues, or if you already have sleep issues, it can get a little worse. The combination of messing up with your circadian rhythm, with turning back the clock, plus the shorter days can be an issue. I am Dr. Damiana Korka. I'm a holistic sleep specialist, and today I want to chat with you about the things that you can do to make sure that this time change doesn't mess up with your sleep, and the things that you can do as you step into the winter to make sure that you get the absolute best sleep. This video is for you if you have trouble falling asleep, and also if you wake up too early in the morning, but also if you don't have any sleep issues and you just want to make sure that you get the best sleep through this transition period and through the winter. Then I think you'll be learning a couple of different things in here that are going to be really helpful. So first, the simplest thing is that we change the clock. We need to go to sleep later in the evening by 1 hour. And one of the easiest ways to make this happen, especially if you tend to go to sleep at the same time, is to take 3 nights in a row to move your time of when you go to bed by 20 minutes. So 3 times 20 minutes, it will move your going to sleep time by 1 hour, and you'll be all set. Now, if you have sleep issues, so let's say you have trouble falling asleep, this can get a little tricky. On one hand, this can actually be helpful for some people. Let's say you have trouble falling asleep, and if you're left to your own devices, you would be going to sleep later. That would be ideally, but you can't because you have to allow enough time in bed, then you have to get up to go to work or take care of your kids. So this temporarily actually might actually be nice and helpful, because now you can stay up a little later, and then hopefully you'll get sleepy and go to bed. Now, this can also backfire. Let's say you have trouble falling asleep, you tend to have anxiety around it, and because you're staying up later, you get overtired. And when we get overtired, you think it should just make it easier to fall asleep, but it doesn't work like that, because going to sleep is not a passive act. Is not We're not passing out, even though it may feel like it. Actually, the brain can work just as hard as when we're awake. It's just that the energy is used differently. And so being overtired is a thing, and it can be a problem. And what can happen when we're overtired, the body says, uh-oh, what is going on? Is there a danger? Is there a problem? So it can shoot up more stress hormones such as cortisol. And once that happens, you get into that second wind sometimes, and then you're awake for an hour or two, and you feel like you can't go to sleep, and that can create more anxiety. So if that happens momentarily and you realize like you're kind of groggy and then you're not, and you're kind of more awake, then know that it will take a little bit of time. uh, it takes time for those stress hormones to clear out of your body, because now your body thinks there might have been some kind of a danger, so it tries to protect you and keep you up. And you can't make yourself fall asleep, so you might as well use that time to do something peaceful and quiet, read a book, and not stress too much about it. It's just one night, it will pass, and hopefully tomorrow night will be you'll be better. So in order to prevent this from happen, in order to prevent this overtired feeling from happening, but still staying up a little later, then what you can do is take a rest in the middle of the day. Many times we say, oh, I don't have time to rest or to take a nap. I have so much to do, but just 20 minutes of laying down can be super, super helpful. And you don't have to fall asleep necessarily. I mean, you might doze off for a minute or two, or even a few minutes, or you might not, but just the act of stopping, slowing down, laying flat, listening to something, or just laying there quietly and feeling your breath can be really soothing to your nervous system and can be really helpful. And then your energy will pick up for the rest of the day, and then you go into the evening and it will be easier to sleep. I'm a big proponent of these rests in the middle of the day. They can be extremely helpful and much better than reaching out for the caffeine. So that was for trouble falling asleep and some of the things that can happen. Now, if you have trouble waking up too early in the morning, you're waking up too early anyways, and now suddenly you're waking up even earlier because of the time change, and that can be hard and can cause anxiety, and it can cause more sleep issues because suddenly now you're getting less sleep. So one of the things that you can do is to make sure you set an alarm clock. Maybe you already do, but if you don't, please do. I think one of the things that tends to happen with people is if they wake up too early in the morning, they feel like there is no need to set an alarm clock. But it can be really helpful because this way you can absolutely avoid looking at the clock. So if you wake up too early, one of the most important things is to not look at the clock, not see, oh, what time is it? Is it 2:30? Is it 3? Is it 4? Is it 4:30? How long do I have left? And my message to you is if it's not morning, it doesn't matter what time it is. There is no use to look at the clock. Just do whatever you need to do to go back to sleep, do some deep breathing, listen to something, maybe to a guided meditation. If you gotta get up, if you tend to have a little bit of anxiety or worry, read something. And of course, these are all kind of things that you can do in the moment. The idea is to work on the root causes, which is what I help people do, to figure out why do you wake up in the first place. So, but momentarily, if this is happening, um, setting an alarm clock, not looking at the clock, can be helpful to hopefully help you rest more, have less anxiety, and be able to drift back into sleep. And the other thing is to make sure your room is really dark. Temporarily this can be an issue. Um, you get more sunlight in the morning and that can wake you up. So having the room very dark is helpful. That soon will change because the days will get shorter and shorter. So again, this is a turning point for many because of the time change, which can disrupt the circadian rhythm, and then plus that you're getting less sunlight, which makes less melatonin, less serotonin, and for so many people, this can transition into what we call SAD, seasonal affective disorder, where you may feel more depressed, you may have more sleep issues, and this can go on for a few months. And for most people, they can kind of feel like it's getting better at the earliest in February, depending on where you live. But many times it can be March and it can be April when finally you feel like you're getting a break. So one of the best things that you can do to help with this is to make sure that you expose yourself to natural light as much as possible in the morning. And in many parts of the country, that's not possible. So then what you can do is buy one of those light boxes. Should have about 10,000 lux. That's the power, like the strength of the light. And sit next to that light for 20 minutes each morning as soon as you wake up, and that can be really helpful for your brain chemistry, and it can help your mood and make you feel happier, have more energy, and also sleep better, which helps everything else. I think this is all I wanted to chat with you today. I hope these tips are helpful, and I wish you a wonderful sleep. And if you have any questions, please let me know. I'd be happy to address them.